Hello friends. So today we're going to be talking about a discussion that's been going on across the internet, specifically regarding Dispatch, in regards to who the leak is, the traitor that is among us. This is something that I wanted to talk about just because it is such a widely heated topic and such a debated one as well. Blah, blah, blah. I wanted to go ahead and throw my towel into the ring. I wanted to present some information that I've done some research on and present it as a means to add some clarity to this conversation, because this whole thing, it's insanity. Here's my presentation on who the possible leak in Dispatch is. So I have a list here and I'm going to be presenting it in, it's going to be from least likely to most likely. The final two, those are going to be the ones that y'all are going to be probably wondering about as far as my findings on that, okay? And if you want to see that, you can go ahead and skip to the end. I don't care, but I'm going to be presenting each of the characters that we know of, okay? Excluding probably, I would say probably Chase, because rest in peace, my man. Rest in peace, my guy. Either way, let's jump into this list. We're going to start off with Golem, okay? Golem, right off rip, I'm just going to be completely honest. It's a no. He's not the leak. And I only say that because, like, so it's one of two things, okay? It's either he doesn't know about Shroud or he doesn't care, okay? He's honestly just a good dude and just super chill. Like, I can't see Golem being the leak. There's no way. He can't be the leak. I'm sorry. Moving on. This one's gonna be I'm also gonna be including a couple of them as well. It's really dependent upon your gameplay for this one, but Phenomenon is another one, okay? Phenomenon is one that I don't think it's him, just because, again, he's kind of chill. He comes off kind of a jerk just because of his comments, but that's only because he's not fully aware of the things he's saying. He's kind of oblivious. He is an alien, not from Earth, so he's learning about humans. Honestly, the worst I could probably see him doing is maybe just wanting to kind of learn about Shroud, if not for anything. I would see him more of like accidentally ratting himself out, probably. He's just mostly unaware of just social cues in general. I don't think it's Phenomenon. I think Phenomenon is completely innocent in all that.
A knob, why don't we turn it?
Here's one that I think that I might receive some flack on this one for. Flambe. I think Flambe is not the leak, okay? And I only say this because, yes, he is a hothead. Yes, he is a jerk. But he's a jerk that's kind of honest to a degree. Barring, the fact that he set fires and then put them out himself. You got to make a living somehow. Regardless of the fact, you can't say that he's not good at his job of being a hero, because he's good. If you level him up, he is a good hero. His stats are crazy. But I can't see him backstabbing the team. I can't see him betraying the team to Shroud. I really can't. Mostly because if you, on the scene where Robert is talking or telling them who he is, depending on which one you pick, if you pick to tell them that you're Mecha Man, Flambe will blow up. He will get angry. He'll try to, burn you to a crisp, and then he'll fly off. Which then he later comes back and apologizes for, or like his a way of apologizing. Whereas if you don't tell them, and you honestly just tell him like, hey, I'm just Robert. I'm just a guy who's behind the desk now. Flambe will be the first one to speak up and be like, hey, my name is, I forgot what his name was. Go ahead and just type it like right here. But yeah, no, I don't see Flambe being the leak at all. Next, Punch Up. I'm gonna be totally honest. He's not smart. He is kind of dumb. The only way I could see him maybe working with Shroud is like as muscles, like as kind of like a grunt. But I don't think that. I think that might be a little bit below Punch Up. I feel like he has kind of a sense of honor to himself, and so I don't see him bring himself down to that level at all. And maybe would even go as far as to say that betraying the team is kind of cowardly, not like a man, with that mustache he's got going. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. Now we're going to be moving on into the low to high maybes. To lead off this list, I'm going to go ahead and say this one. This is also dependent on if you picked this route. Waterboy. I think that he has a chance of being the leak to Shroud only because I actually do have a list like right here. His power would make him okay. So this is really something that I think was kind of a turn off. Like it's kind of like a okay, maybe not. His power would make him a liability to Shroud, especially if he can't control it. I just think that Shroud would see that power and think, why are you here? I don't need you. You're not strong. You're not fast. You're not that smart. The glasses do not make him smart. Okay, let's just make that clear. Glasses don't make you smart. It would be a crazy twist though, having Waterboy be helping the villain. That would be kind of a crazy twist. Like if I'm being totally honest, he's using the bumbling, clumsy persona to shake off people from his scent, or his anxiety and stutter being a cover for like his true personality. Which no, that bug in the game that has freaking Coop stats on, or her crimes on his profile, no, that does not count. Which I'll post that like right here. Not to mention him getting a low-level job like a janitor and having him come off as a good person would be a good way for him to get close to everybody and kind of feed Shroud information. Also, quick question, why was he at the villain bar? Like I get it was like an outing, but the bodyguard at the front said he didn't let anybody in if he didn't know who they were. So how did Waterboy get in? How did he get in? Unless Invis let him in which case that makes sense. Moving on next, Malevola. She's known to be very loyal. Okay, she's a very loyal teammate. She's a very loyal friend. So I could definitely see that being kind of something that Shroud would not want, especially if he's using them as a spy. Malevola, I feel like she's, despite her overall appearance and her overall demeanor as well as her background, she's very open and honest about things. Like I could definitely see her being like, no, I'm not okay with this. In fact, I'm gonna go tell my team about it. Like I could definitely see that being a thing. Now with that being said, if you had let Sonar go, and this does go into like the decisions and everything, if you let Sonar go, this could be like a point where she could use it like revenge, like, hey, I'm gonna feed Shroud this information kind of in order to sabotage Robert. I guess that could be something. I don't know. I might be reaching with that one. Every kiss begins with ketamine. Next, and this one might hit a few Royd. Okay, so again, hear me out before you run to the comments. Okay, he was a successful participant of the Phoenix program, which meant he did want to turn his life around from being a villain. He's cool, he's kind, but I feel like that simple man vibes, as well as being incredibly smart. He's incredibly strong. These are qualities I think Shroud would want, especially if working around like tech as well as working around like science and stuff like that. I could definitely see Shroud wanting to use Royd, wanting to get in touch with him, but I think again, this goes back to his whole personality. I think Royd might be too good of a person. Yeah, I know. I think that Royd wouldn't want to join up with Shroud, but at the same time, like, I think Shroud would want to use Royd. I don't know. I might be reaching with that one. Just tell me in the comments. Here's one too that I think is kind of likely. Coop. We don't know a lot about her, mostly because of her demeanor, how reserved she is, except that she's a former assassin and a hitman. She has a soft spot for Punch Up, which may also contribute to her not betraying the team, even if you let her go. But at the same time, I could also see her being someone who can get paid off easy. I could definitely see Coop or Shroud coming to Coop and be like, hey, if you feed me information, I'll pay you this, I'll give you this, or whatever the case, something of monetary value. Like I 100% could see that happening. Another thing too, the feather that she gave Robert, I noticed something with that. So I think you also receive one if you keep her, and in the bar that's when she gives it to you, whereas in the one where you let her go, she throws it down as kind of like a threat. I think that feather might have something to do with it, because you get an achievement if you get the feather, and I don't know if you get the achievement if you play it the other way and you don't let her go. Hold on, actually, you know what, I'm gonna go search the achievements here real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so I didn't find anything as far as like receiving the feather. I know you can either get the feather from Coop or you can get the tie from Sonar. So I don't know like if that has any play in this at all, but I do know that both Sonar and Coop, whichever one you go with, will eventually make a comeback. Okay, so they're probably gonna come back in episodes 7 and 8.
Hey buddy, how you doing? Yeah.
Moving on to the next character of this area, that is Prism. Okay, now the reason she's at the top, the only reason I say she's at the top, okay, and it's not even her fault, okay, and I will explain here in a moment. She's got a loud personality. She's a spotlight queen because we love her. I love her character, and definitely very confident to the point of cockiness, okay. But here's the part where I say it might be her. Multiple times she has been shown live streaming even some of the confidential stuff, okay, because whenever Chase and Invis were fighting, she was live streaming or recording, and in the background you could still see it. They had the map up, okay. So that's one of the things, okay. And whether indirectly or directly, I could see her definitely Shroud offering her something as well. I could see him giving something to her or offering her something in exchange for information. I don't see that being past her whole personality. That's just my take on it. If you disagree, that's fine. Just drop it down in the comment, okay?
Why are you eating my burrito?
Now, here is what y'all have probably been like looking forward to, waiting for. How we're gonna do this, I'm gonna be listing them off entirely, and also providing probably smaller things, like smaller instances that kind of made me tip my eyebrow a little bit. So first thing we're gonna start off with, Blonde Blazer. Okay, Blonde Blazer is a romantic interest to Robert as well as his boss, and she presents herself in a sweet, kind, loving, understanding way. She's humble, down to earth, whilst being grounded and longing for normalcy. Obviously, we know that she has markers of being Shroud's daughter. The age matches up compared to what Shroud's would be now. The physical description matches too, considering that she's the only character in the game that has brown and blue eyes. Okay, and you only get that information if you go on a date with her, which I do think is kind of interesting, that you have to go on a date with her, which makes it feel as though it is information you have to unlock. Like, otherwise you probably wouldn't know that information. I would say she probably rejects her father for killing Robert's dad, and she might be dating Robert out of guilt for that. Okay, so that's another thing. She might be dating Robert because she feels guilty for Shroud killing his dad. The necklace is, I would say, more than likely Shroud Tech probably gave it to her as a way to help her become a superhero. Wanted to make daddy's little girl happy. And of course, I could also see her using her position to get close to Robert's operation, of him rebuilding the mech. She probably offered to help Robert in order to find the Astral Pulse, since Chase himself said in the game, I remember the scene specifically, said Shroud might not know where it is or even thought it was destroyed too, which is why we later see Shroud in there trying to get the Astral Pulse, probably because he figured it out as soon as we did. Okay, and then she probably wanted to wait to attack the port later instead of rushing in, because she knew that Shroud would be there and didn't want anybody to get hurt. Okay, so that is an option. Alrighty, for all the Invis people out there, you have some information with that, as well as Blonde Blazer people who might be a little bit blinded by the Snow Bunny effect. As somebody who also chose Blonde Blazer, I have my reasons. I just want somebody who's emotionally mature. Invisible Girl. This is the next one that we probably are going to be looking into. And by probably, I mean definitely. She's a love interest to Robert and his subordinate. Okay, she has a rough and closed-off personality, comes off aggressive and mean, goes against the grain, but ultimately desires to be wanted and accepted. Okay, so she just wants to be loved overall. She definitely has a history with villain work, referring to the villains at the shipyard as old friends. Okay, I wanted to make a note of that because she clearly used to work with them, and even one of them calls out saying, hey, Invisible Girl's here. Come on. She has history with them. She knows them, which means she probably knows Shroud too. At the beginning, we find out she asks that no questions are asked if she joins the Phoenix program, conveniently around the time that Mecha Man came out of the coma. Her powers, according to her, are perfect villain powers, perfect for sneaking around, like in the conference room in episode 2. Why was she there? Like, even at the effect of her kind of snooping, like, if she was just snooping and wanting to be gossipy, she could have just walked in and, you know, just reappeared or something like that, instead of not letting them know that she was there. Like, the only reason that they found out she was there is because Robert threw his coat on her. Again, it's one of the things that kind of makes you kind of tilt your head a little bit, like, huh, that's weird. And not only that, she also directly states that she could be anywhere, which implies that she could always be listening. She could always be around, and you'll never know it. So just kind of another thing that I thought was kind of interesting as well. And then not only that, she adamantly pushes the team to go, as if she knew that Shroud would be there or was listening, and he then knew that they were going to be there, and so she wanted to try to beat him to the punch. So that's kind of something I was like, why is she pushing so hard to go? Like, I understand that it could be gone, but like, even if there was a possibility it could be gone, there's no reason to push that hard. It's just something that didn't make sense to me, and honestly, like, kind of made me again tilt my head a little bit, like, that's weird. So yeah, no, that's kind of my list. And yeah, so if y'all enjoyed this video, y'all thought that was the end, didn't you? No. We have hidden options, and that hidden option, the first one, y'all might come at me in the comments for this one, Robert's dad. Oh yeah, no one's considered that yet. Now, why would I say his dad? Well, first of all, if we're gonna go by any sort of hero based anything, if you don't see a body, they're not dead. If you don't see a body, they're not dead. Here's the reason I don't think he's dead. Okay, for one, we saw that his grandpa was crushed in the machine. Okay, we saw that Robert's grandfather was crushed inside of his suit. We don't see a body for Robert's dad. That's why I believe he might be alive, which would be crazy. That would be a crazy twist. Like, you cannot tell me that twist is not crazy, because we've spent the majority of these episodes talking about how Robert's dad had such an impact on his life. Like, Robert's dad is almost a crucial point of the entire game, and it would make the craziest twist for him to still be alive. You can't tell me that wouldn't be crazy. With this all being said, why would Robert's dad want to team up with Shroud? He could be, first of all, let's go with option 1. He could be trying to destroy the Astral Pulse, okay? Because he knows that Shroud may be wanting to get to it, and so he's trying to destroy it. For one, so that way Robert can kind of back off the hero life. He figured, okay, I don't want my son to be involved in this. I got involved in this and almost died. I don't want that to happen to my son. I might think that Shroud's dad might be, or not Shroud's dad, Robert's dad might be working with Shroud. Now, to do what? I don't know, but it would kind of also make sense too, because they were both really good friends. I don't know. I don't know. And again, going on to key points, I'm not going to and this leads me on to another thing too. I'm not going to go and hit on other points too that have already been made known. Like, for instance, the scene where Toxic is talking to Robert and then suddenly out of nowhere says, now get out of there, babe. I'm not going to talk about that, nor am I going to talk about the bomb. Those are pieces that, yes, they're very hotly debated, okay? They're very, very hotly debated. And though the bomb one is a very strong point, I do feel like that's kind of one of those things that kind of goes without, saying. Either way, if y'all enjoyed this, if y'all want to see more, drop a comment down below. Like the video so that way at least I know that y'all like this kind of content. I haven't posted anything like this before, so we're going to see how it goes. That's all from me, guys. I'll see y'all next campfire. Later.